Serbian news coverage of NATO airstrikes on Yugoslavia from government-controlled Radio Television Serbia in Belgrade. This portion of the news was recorded today at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time and translated here at C-SPAN in Washington, D.C. It's about a half hour.
You're watching primetime news of Radio Television Serbia. Respected viewers, the planners and the executors of the evil deeds against Yugoslavia continue to kill civilians throughout Yugoslavia. Obviously, they want to obstruct the peace initiatives in order to resolve the crisis caused by NATO. In the village of Radosta, west of Orahovac, NATO killed 2 children today. 1 other child was seriously injured. In the village of Gazivoda near Zubin Potok, 1 civilian facility was hit. A child and its mother were injured. The target of the NATO killers this morning around 1:30 a.m. was again the Jugopetrol fuel facility in Prahovo. This is the 5th attack of NATO on this fuel storage facility. They shook with 12 missiles the Negotin area. The aggressor NATO alliance, as of 1:20 in the morning, attacked the Bor area several times. For a 4th time, they attacked the Jugopetrol fuel storage facilities on Slatina Road. Afterwards, you could hear the missiles throughout the mining and smelting facility of Bor. Several missiles hit the electric power plant number 3 that was already destroyed by 2 earlier attacks. There are no injured people in these attacks, but there was huge material damage both in residential areas and in economic facilities. The aggressor NATO alliance, 25 minutes after midnight, attacked for a 3rd time the Novi Sad television, already damaged during previous attacks on the 3rd and 15th of May. These facilities were once again targets. 1 missile also exploded close to the riverbank along Danube in a residential area, Liman 3. The anti-aircraft units responded energetically according to eyewitnesses. 1 criminal attack plane was hit and withdrew towards Hungary, obviously damaged. After a hit by our anti-aircraft units at about 1:20 a.m., an enemy plane dropped its fuel reservoir near Aleksandrovac in Žabarska county. 1 reservoir hit the very center of Aleksandrovac, 2 more in the nearby fields. The marks on these reservoirs show that this is a fighter plane, Harrier type, that was damaged and withdrew towards Prahovo. Last night's attack was prevented by our anti-aircraft units that managed to hit 3 cruising missiles of the NATO aggressor. The target of the aggressor were also the suburbs near Kragujevac, the Dobričevo farm near Čuprije, as well as the area of Marković near Kuršumlija. In the afternoon, they also attacked the Kremana area on Tara Mountain. They also attacked civilian targets in Kosovo, in the county of Suva Reka, the wider area of Pristina, economic facilities in Lipljan, and the Goleš Mountain. Also, the area of Ruška Gora, specifically the village of Bešenovo, was a site where they found a reservoir for fuel discarded by an enemy plane, as well as 2 unexploded missiles. Between Kosovska Vitina and Letnica around 11 a.m., our anti-aircraft units downed an unmanned plane by NATO. From the rubble of the prison facility in Istok, attacked and razed twice by NATO, 86 corpses have been pulled out so far. 196 people are injured, 40 are in very critical condition. The doctors are fighting for their lives. A number of prisoners have fled, noted the judge of the county court in Peć, Mladen Bojic. The investigation in Istok is carried out under very difficult circumstances, not only because of the rubble, but because of the constant presence of NATO planes. NATO Air Force, after 12 a.m., attacked twice the area of Crni Rat. Near Sutomore, on the Adriatic coast of Montenegro, the enemy hit Sutomore area yesterday as well twice. In the zone of the responsibility of the Second Army, despite combat actions, there is a specific attention given for the health and psychological condition of our soldiers. During the visit of our border battalion, we saw the health unit from Podgorica in Montenegro, and they continue to observe our soldiers and conduct epidemiological, neurological, dental, and psychiatric examinations. In war conditions, special attention is given to epidemiological testing of food and potable water. As you can see, this is conducted by expert medical teams. What's common to all these soldiers? Companionship, compactness, an impressive maturity of young people who are only 19, and within the past 2 months they have matured both emotionally and intellectually. With their activities, they give example both to those older than themselves and those younger ones. This is a force that we really are proud of. Aside from small colds, negligible cough or two, there are no serious health problems. In military conditions, it's very important to have medical exams, and these are conducted by the troop doctor Zoran Pejkanović. Obviously, psychological stability of the soldiers can be affected, and that's why they have a psychologist and psychiatrist on staff. We haven't noticed any disruptions in the psychological condition. At the end of our report from this Yugoslav-Albanian border area, here is the message of one of the soldiers that was conveyed by the captain first class Radovan Bečić. Our army, as you've seen today, is ready and prepared to defend this part of the territory of the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. Our ambassador to the UN, Vladislav Jovanović, repeated the willingness of our country to discuss, of course, with mediation of the UN, about the full autonomy of Kosovo, excluding secession and protectorate over the sovereign country of Yugoslavia. In Moscow, the three-party meetings are underway in order to resolve the situation in Yugoslavia in peaceful means. The participants, Viktor Chernomyrdin, Marty Ahtisaari, and Strobe Talbot, the Deputy Secretary of State of the US, said that the negotiations will last until there is a solution and until there is a chance to find a solution. Before the negotiations, the Finnish president met with the new Prime Minister of Russia, Sergei Stepashin. Russia stressed the need for an immediate end of the bombing of Yugoslavia and beginning of the political process. In Moscow, the third round of negotiations is underway between Viktor Chernomyrdin, the Finnish president, Ahtisaari, and Strobe Talbot. Chernomyrdin stresses that the result of today's discussions should be an agreement on the end of the bombardment of Yugoslavia. This is the main condition to switch this military conflict into a political negotiating situation. For the first time, these meetings are attended by U.S. military representatives as well as General Zavashin, the Russia's military representative at NATO. It's not known what was arranged between Viktor Chernomyrdin and Strobe Talbot that held another discussion prior to the beginning of the official negotiations. That discussion lasted for 2 hours. Tomorrow, Chernomyrdin travels to Belgrade to brief President Milosevic on the results from these discussions between Ahtisaari and Talbot. It is important that any resolution of the conflict in Kosovo should involve the Yugoslav party as well. The Russian Foreign Minister Igor Ivanov stated that in Moscow they're not talking about division of Kosovo as some British media have implied. Nobody's preparing for division of Kosovo. These are not discussions about divisions, stressed the Russian Foreign Minister after his meeting with the Deputy Secretary of State Strobe Talbot. He stressed that there are documents which note that the solution of the Kosovo crisis is possible only with protection of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Yugoslavia, so there is no discussion of any division. Strobe Talbot, after the meeting with Ivanov, stressed that Yugoslavia should retain Kosovo within its limits, but at the same time we are trying to reach few objectives. First, to stop this crisis. Second, to return the refugees to Kosovo. In order to accomplish this, we have to understand that there is only one state on the map, Yugoslavia. Italy and Great Britain give full support to the diplomatic initiatives for the solution of the Kosovo crisis. This was the substance of today's meetings between the Italian Foreign Minister Lamberto Dini and his British counterpart Robin Cook. This is the first stage of the tour throughout Europe by Robin Cook, who will also visit France and Germany, and that comes immediately after his visit to the US. During the discussions in Rome, both Dini and Cook expressed support for the negotiation efforts of the special Russian envoy Chernomyrdin, with a special emphasis on his meeting today with the Deputy Secretary of State of the US, Thrope Talbot, and the Finnish President Martti Ahtisaari. Secretary General of the UN, Kofi Annan, sent an appeal from Stockholm for finding a political solution for Kosovo in order to stop the suffering of the Yugoslav civilians, as he said, regardless of their nationality. Kofi Annan, in his speech in the Swedish parliament, said that all of the final solutions for Kosovo have to be found within the UN, and the UN Security Council should have a key role. The president of the General Assembly of the UN and head of the Uruguay's diplomacy, Didier Roperti, criticized NATO, accusing it of behaving like an international tutor. He said that one cannot change international order without a discussion within the UN. The presiding member of the UN General Assembly said that this is an attempt to return the clock of history back. We shall enter the next century with UN in a very bad position and an international order that's completely chaotic because the right of force dominates over the rule of law. Leading Chinese media say that the continuation of this aggression will cause ever-growing difficulties within NATO. Washington and other NATO members are trying